Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today's video I'm here to give you 5 things which I believe we learned from the game against Sheffield Wednesday in our 2-1 win. Let me know your thoughts on the game itself and the talking points which I'm going to bring to you in this video down in the comments. Subscribe if you are new to the channel and also leave a like as well. So the first thing which I do want to talk about is Tom Krauss looks like he's going to be one hell of a signing for us, and I cannot wait for him to get back up to like game speed so he can get him 90 minutes in the tank. Honestly, he looks the real deal. When we first signed him, I thought, wow, like this excites me. Signing a player that's played in the German top league, the amount of games he's played in his career over the last 5 years, and a very aggressive centre mid. I do like an aggressive centre mid. Really good pass on the ball as well. And just watching him come on against Sheffield Wednesday, he literally looked the part. He looked like he's been with us for a couple seasons. He literally just fitted right in. And his passion when we were winning tackles, winning corners, you could just see him trying to get the fans up and running. And I like a player like that, someone who shows a bit of passion, shows that he actually does care. Turns out, I was listening to his interview after the game, he's been living in a hotel recently, he's not been with his girlfriend, he's been living on his own. He's now got a house now, he's now got a girlfriend, his girlfriend's coming flying over to the UK. So things are starting to line up for him, he's getting game time now, he's now recovered from that ankle injury which he had. And I cannot wait to see more of him. He really does excite me. And that will, of course, leave question marks for Rob Edwards. What does he do? Does he stick with a midfield, a two-man midfield of Nakamba and maybe Krauss? Or will Krauss be #1 every week? Or would he go to a midfield 3? There's been lots of question marks over formations and the current system which we are playing. Edwards will have a few answers. Well, he needs to try and figure out a few answers to those questions, because I actually don't know right now what our strongest team is and the best way to play our strongest team. I keep working it out in my head. I go with one lineup and then actually I go, no, I think it's this. I just can't get my head around it. And if I can't get my head around it, then I'm sure there's a few headaches in the coaching camp at the moment with Luton. But yeah, he definitely has a few questions he needs to answer around the midfield situation on where to go forward. Now, he wasn't just the one substitution, because the second thing which I believe we learned is Victor Moses definitely still has it. Wow, what an impact he had when he came on. Out of all of our wide players, when you look at Chong and Clark, who started the game, we found it really difficult to give them the ball and progress the ball up the field with those players. Whereas with Victor Moses, I know we were chasing the game a little bit, so the type of game which Moses had compared to when Chong was on the pitch at the start was totally different. But when Victor Moses came on, he carried the ball, and that was something which we needed. We needed someone just to carry the ball, dribble at the Sheffield Wednesday defenders, cause them problems, give them a question to answer. And there were a few times where he put in some fantastic deliveries into the box, which then made Sheffield Wednesday defend. In the first half, the crosses which we were putting into the box, we weren't really making Sheffield Wednesday do anything. They were just doing basic defending. When we're challenging teams and going at teams, we want them to be finding it very difficult to cope with us, especially with the pressure. We need to make them work. We didn't really do that in the first half. In the second half, of course, when we did go 1-0 down, we started to do that. But deliveries, what Victor Moses was doing was making Sheffield Wednesday defenders work and causing all sorts of problems. He also was involved in the second goal, where we actually did something a little bit different from a corner. We didn't just put the ball into the box. We went short, and it caused Sheffield Wednesday all sorts of problems, and we got a goal from it. Sometimes I do think we are a little bit too predictable from set pieces. Of course, we are really good at them and we've got physical defenders in the box. But sometimes I just wish we try something different. Maybe go for an out swinger or an in swinger, but maybe someone else takes a corner. Just something a little bit different. So that's the second thing which I believe we learned from the game. The third thing which I believe we learned from the game is our striker situation. I think it's now time to bring Morris in from the start and drop Elijah. I think Adebayo, he needs to be dropped. He did this last year. He started off slowly, he got dropped to the bench, and then when he eventually came back into the side, he couldn't stop scoring. That's what we kind of need to happen again. Morris, from the sounds of things from interviews with Edwards, he said that Morris has been the ultimate professional. He's accepted being dropped, but now he's come on, he's scored 2 goals. It's very important for strikers to finally get off the mark for the season. He didn't just score the penalty under massive wait in time. Like, I couldn't believe how that Sheffield Wednesday defender just managed to take all the time in the world to come off the pitch. You know, in theory, if a player is sent off, he should not be allowed to take that amount of time to walk off the pitch. There should be like another way of actually he gets double carded for future games, because that's ridiculous. That could have had a massive impact on the penalty. Of course, there were question marks over the penalty. I've watched it back plenty of times. I actually think it's hit the top bit here. Now, there's like a grey area. I'm trying to place it. I think it's hit here, basically. I think it's 50% handball, 50% not. That's how I look at it. I don't think the Sheffield Wednesday's done it on purpose. I think he was already like on the ground, and I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to chest it like that, so he's using more of his upper body to clear the ball, because he was already there and it was going to go in, but ultimately it was a penalty. And when the referee's watching that in first glance, and from his view, if he sees a player do that, he's going to give a penalty. You've given the referee a clear decision to make, and he was an awful ref, so I can understand why the penalty was given and the sending off ended up happening from that. But yeah, that was my view on the penalty situation. But despite that, Morris done extremely well, scored the penalty, but then more importantly, he scored a goal from open play. It's alright for strikers to score from a penalty. That, yeah, boosts their confidence a little bit. But scoring a goal from open play, being in the right place at the right time, is more important. There's also question marks over that goal as well. For me, if a striker's position, this is just how I see football. I don't think he's meant to. The ball has hit Morris's arm, but he's controlled it in the way where his arms is by his side. He can't do anything more. If his arm's here and it hits his arm and then he scores, I can understand that being awarded a foul to Sheffield Wednesday. But his arm's here, like, he can't do anything more. The ball came down and he slotted it in. I think if VAR was here, that wouldn't have stood. But then again, thank God VAR is not in the Championship. But despite that, I thought it was really good to see Morris scoring a goal from open play, and I do think he should be starting in the future. The fourth thing, which I believe we've learned from this game, is the style of play. It's getting on my nerves starting from the back, playing out from the back. Now, I don't mind playing out from the back as long as you do it correctly. For me, the best teams in the world, when you watch them play out from the back, they're doing a lot of things differently than what we're doing it. Now, I'm not expecting us to do it how Barcelona, Real Madrid and all those clubs do it. I'm not expecting that. However, I'm expecting the basics from it. And the basics are moving the ball quickly and movement. We're playing in the first gear doing it. Against Sheffield Wednesday, they had a massive heavy press, and they were just able to contain us, and we just couldn't get out of our own half. That's a problem. So fans are gonna sarcastically applaud when we go long, because they've seen the ball going the other side of going in the other half. So you can understand it. And I was frustrated watching us yesterday, because there was too many times we were just gifting it away. There's no movement. And it's just frustrating to watch. We don't look like we're comfortable in doing it. We're confident enough in doing it. For me, I don't care how we play our football, as long as we win games of football. However, going forward against a better team, I just feel like we're going to struggle massively. I really do. I feel like when you've got a club like Leeds that come down, or Sheffield United, who we've got in a couple of weeks, I feel like they're going to absolutely take full advantage of that and score 1 or 2, potentially 3 or 4, because they've got the better quality players of dealing with that. So yeah, it worries me a little bit. And Edwards, I think he's getting frustrated, and that's the 5th thing which I believe we've learned from this game. You notice how he was sitting down throughout the whole game. After the game, I've never seen Edwards clap around the pitch so quickly. He just didn't want to be there. And the last 2 interviews which I've watched of Edwards, he just doesn't look happy. I think he needs that. Well, I think he's realising that what he wants us to do, we just can't do it, and that's what's frustrating him. I don't know. I don't think it's a massive job for him. Like, this is something he should be able to cope. I feel like he's done the hardest bit, which was a season in the Premier League. Now there's real expectation. Is he just struggling to handle that expectation now? I don't know. Like, for me personally, I feel like we have to finish in the top 10 because of the Premier League money, being a former Premier League side. I think it's embarrassing if we don't finish in the top 10. Something that's gone horribly wrong if we don't. But with him, it just feels weird. I feel like he's put expectation on himself on saying that we want to win the league and win promotion. Of course, most teams want to win promotion, but I don't think you come out and invite all that pressure, because then all the fans get on board with that. And then when we start seeing performances like we have done, they get frustrated straight away. I feel like there does need to be a little bit of patience at times. I understand it. First 5-10 minutes we shouldn't be booing. That should not be happening. However, gradually, if we're still doing it in the 30th, 40th minute and we're still struggling to be on doing it, then yeah, we shouldn't be playing out from the back. We shouldn't be doing it, because we just clearly cannot cope against the Sheffield Wednesday high press. That's just the way I'm seeing it at the moment. But yeah, it needs to be quicker, more movement. And yeah, it feels weird at the moment, despite winning back-to-back league games. Got Plymouth on Friday night away from home. That's going to be an interesting test. I'm looking forward to it. Going to be watching it on the TV as I'm working on the day. So yeah, that's a long trip, and fair play to any Luton fan that's going to that. Especially if you're going there and back on the same day. Fair play, because you're not going to get back until 4, potentially 5 AM in the morning, because that's a long trip. And I really hope we win, because it does make the overall trip 100% worth it. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the Sheffield Wednesday game. Hopefully we can now move forward and just get excited for Plymouth. Amari Bell, there's been news. He looks like he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. I think he's pulled his other hamstring, which is a shame. He's had a lot of heavy load in terms of games, but that then gives opportunities for other players to show what they can do in a Luton shirt. So look, onwards and upwards, keep being positive. We're climbing up that league. I said we needed to get 10 points in our next 5 games. At the moment we've got 6, 4 more to go, and I would say that's quite a good return considering what happened before international break. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video.